guys, welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Brianna, and if you can't tell, I love to read. This week I thought it would be really fun to challenge myself to read only wintry books. It is currently like the middle of January as I'm filming this. I think it'll be late January or early February when this video goes up, so it'll still definitely be a winter time, so still a great time to read any of these wintry books that I have in today's video. And if you haven't seen any of my reading vlogs before, it is basically just exactly how it sounds. I pick out books, I show myself reading them, show clips here and there, give updates between the books, all spoiler free, but just like my honest thoughts and reactions and reviews to all of these books. And I just love like reading in the same setting that it currently is in the real world. So I also live in Minnesota, so very cold, very snowy, so I really like when my book matches the same atmosphere that it currently is in my world. I actually have quite a few wintry books on my physical TBR, so I'll show you those because those will basically be like the contenders to read in today's video. Usually I try to read like 3 to 4 books for these videos, but it just depends on how big the book is, how fast I can get through it, and if I'm like annotating it or anything. So let me show you some of these wintry books that I have. First, we have Frigid by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I think this is like a small town steamy romance. Also, I go into most all of my books blindly. I just know like a little bit about them and that's really it. So I apologize if that's not for you. Ooh, then we have The Frozen River, and spoiler alert, we will definitely be reading this one in today's video because this is my book club book for the month of January, and this is like a historical fiction mystery, so I am really excited for this. I will also be annotating this one. I don't think I've ever shown annotations or like me annotating on this channel before, so if you're interested to see that, definitely stick around in this video for when I read this because I will be annotating it just so I can like take a deeper dive into the book for book club. The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I have only ever read one other Lucy Foley book, and it was The Guest List, and I didn't love it. I did find it pretty predictable and also just like so dragged out, kind of slow. This one says a New Year's reunion in the remote Scottish wilderness. Don't know what was going to come out of my mouth there. The Beautiful One, The Golden Couple, The Volatile One, The New Parents, The Quiet One, The City Boy, The Outsider. One of these friends is a murderer and one won't make it out alive, so this takes place on a remote Scottish island in winter. So this is going to be like another thriller by Lucy Foley. I don't know if this is just me, but I always want to like mix together Alice Feeney and Lucy Foley's names. Like I always want to say Lucy Feeney or Alice Foley, and it's like, does anyone else do that with them? Or is this just a me thing? I know this is very niche, but I just need to know. Comment your thoughts on that. We have Misery by Stephen King. This one also takes place in the winter. Not sure how you can tell because the cover is pretty dark, but it is a snowy landscape, snow on the roof of the house, and I'm pretty sure this one is about an author who gets kidnapped by their like mega fan and then kept in the basement of this mega fan's house. So we love a mystery horror. And lastly, we have A Killing Cold. This was my book of the month pick for January, so I haven't heard really anything about this book yet. I just know it's yet again another thriller. So we have lots of mysteries or thrillers to choose from. I feel like those are honestly just so great to read in the wintertime because you kind of want to cozy up with something like that, and also just like being trapped inside like by the snow in real life, and then reading about a book where people are like trapped inside in the snow, or if they're out in the snow, like I don't know what it is, but it just makes sense, you know? So lots of thrillers to choose from this week, and then one romance. So I think the romance will definitely have to be a palate cleanser. Like I'll probably read that one as well this week just to break up the thriller a little bit. I'm also rereading Iron Flame before Onyx Storm comes out, so having a fantasy will also help like break up the thrillers. Which is so funny because usually any other time of the year I don't read this many thrillers. Usually I read fantasy or romance and then I break those up with thrillers, but now I'm reading a lot of thrillers this winter and breaking it up with romance or fantasy. I just thought that was funny. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go with A Killing Cold for the first book of today's video. I will let you know what it's about when I get a little bit into it, but I don't know, I feel really inclined toward reading this one for some reason, like I'm gravitating toward it, so let's just start reading some wintry books, shall we? Alright guys, it is time for our first update of today's video. I am reading A Killing Cold, as I talked about and as you saw me reading. I am a little decent way through. You can't really tell, I feel like, that much because of the hardcover, but I'm like a third almost way through, I think. I'm on chapter 10, page 75. I think there's a little bit under 300 pages in this book, so it's like a decent start. Honestly, I feel like it has been very, very slow, so like I couldn't really get into it. I did not feel like picking it up because I was like, there's nothing happening. Literally, chapter 9, where I just ended, like the last sentence of the chapter kind of has me hooked now, but still not like majorly, I would say. So it's definitely a slower start than I would have liked, especially for a short thriller. Like, if it's under 300 pages, we better get the ball rolling before 100 pages, you know? And it's just like, that book is not there right now, so things better get crazy very quickly. Better have a really insane plot twist at the end, because otherwise this book is not going to get a good rating from me. But let's talk about it a little bit. It's about our main character, Theodora Scott. And Theodora is engaged to Connor. Connor comes from a very wealthy, well-known family in like the area that they're from because they own a business. And Theodora and Connor have only been together, I think they said 6 months, but they're already engaged. And because of that, Theodora is invited to go to like this group or this family like vacation getaway at this resort or these cabins that they own in the mountains. It's called Idlewood, I think. So she's now invited there, which I guess like it's very, very hard to be invited there by the family. Like, you have to be marrying into the family or married into the family to be able to be invited to Idlewood. And right before they get to Idlewood, Theodora receives a text message from an unknown number that's like, stay away from Connor. So she's already like kind of skeptical about being with him. Not that she doesn't love him or anything, but she's just like, I never envisioned myself getting married or like this life for myself. Like, she's only 24, I think. So she's just like, life is moving really, really fast. I'm kind of skeptical of it. And then she gets that text message and she's like, what is going on? Is this text message from like one of his family members that is also there, like at this resort with them for this family get together? So she's kind of freaked out, but like other than that, nothing is happening. She's just like meeting family members and they're just kind of grilling her, but she literally just like does not really give them any information because she is also lying about her life. Like, her name isn't actually Theodora. That is a fake name. I'm kind of confused about her family situation because she said she lied to Connor when she told him her parents were dead. Yet, like, she was adopted by this other family, it sounds like, when she was younger, or maybe it was just like a foster family. I'm not really sure what her whole family situation is right now. That's a little bit fuzzy. So she just, like, is lying to Connor's family, kind of, because she's not telling them the truth about her family and her upbringing. And she's just, like, not really engaging or talking to them. So it's been very, very boring. But I will say, I do really like the scenery. The author is very, very descriptive with the setting. Like, I actually have really been enjoying that. Usually I would much prefer, like, dialogue happening than being like, oh, the room was painted pink. Not that that's what this book says, but it's just, like, setting the winter landscape in the mountain, and it's a great visual because it feels like you are standing there in the book because the author visualizes it so well. And I'm one of those people who can't, like, fully see the picture in my head. I just kind of imagine it, if that makes sense. And even for me, it's been very, very atmospheric. So I will give it that, but there's just nothing happening once I'm in the book, you know? So things better start picking up because otherwise I'm going to be very bored. This is going to be a very boring reading vlog because I don't even feel like picking this up, but I don't know. I'll probably force myself to try and finish it tomorrow just because it is such a short read. I wish it were fast-paced, but it's not at this point anyways. So I am probably going to be done reading for the night because frankly, I just don't feel like giving this book any more of my time and energy today. And I will probably see you back tomorrow when I pick it up again. Alright, since I gave you my first update last night, there has been a lot of crazy stuff going down in this book. I am almost 200 pages in right now. I have about 100 pages left of the book, so a lot more has happened in the 100 pages I have read today. Like, we learn so much more about Theo's past and why things seem very, very weird for her being in the mountains at Idlewood with Connor and his family. They're just, like, a strange bunch overall, very, very rich and, like, entitled people who get their way all the time and will do anything to get their way. So, like, they're almost dangerous in a way, if that makes sense. And Theo just feels like she's been here before. She feels like she has memories of this place. And she is still receiving messages like, stay away from Connor. You need to leave. You need to get out of there. We need to talk about what's going on. Like, so Theo is concerned, I feel like. And she starts remembering things from her childhood. She has to bring up things about her past with Connor and his family because they're, like, digging into her and wanting to find out who she is. So it's just, like, been one thing after another these last few chapters, especially this past one that I just read. Let me see what chapter that is. Chapter 30. I literally don't even know how to, like, comprehend what just happened and what else is going to happen. I have no idea where this is going. Like, genuinely, I feel like this is a thriller. Like, one of the few thrillers I've read lately where I can't really tell where the story is going. Like, I read His and Hers. I read Everything We Never Said last week. And then I've read a few more thrillers, like, in the past few months, where I just feel like I've been able to guess the plot twist. I've been able to see it from a mile away, found it all very predictable. But this one, I'm just, like, genuinely have no idea where we're going, what we're going to find out at the end, like, how it's all going to tie together. And maybe my brain's just not working fast enough to, like, be able to figure it out, but I truly feel like it's doing a good job in that aspect, like in a thriller aspect, to not be able to guess the author's next move right away. At least I prefer that when I'm reading a thriller. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be able to guess the plot twist. That just like disappoints me. So it's definitely doing its job there. Obviously, we're not done with it yet, so I can't say my final thoughts for sure, but it definitely started picking up after I updated you last night. I would say like right around 100 pages. I started getting really, really interested in it. Like, did not want to put it down. It was still a little bit slow for me to pick back up today and get into it, but once I read a little bit more, I was like, okay, things are getting juicy. We are finding things out, so I need to keep reading. I'm probably just gonna do that. Gonna finish up this book and I guess let you know my final thoughts on it.
Alrighty, guys, I switched over to the mini mic right now because my husband's currently taking like kind of an important phone call, so I don't want to like interrupt him. But I just finished this book. You saw me read the last few chapters here, like the last 10 pages, I think. And oh my gosh, so much stuff goes down, so many things revealed. I feel like it was just twist after twist throughout every single chapter. Like there'd be something new revealed every single chapter, multiple things revealed some chapters. It was insane. I feel like it feels kind of like Knives Out in a way because Knives Out is about a very rich family and there's this mystery and they're like trying to figure out what's going on, but some people are also trying to like protect others from the truth and what happened. So obviously in A Killing Cold, we have a very, very rich family. Like multiple family members are here at these cabins. I think there's 2, 4, 6, 8, like 10 to 12. I'm just gonna say 10 to 15 people at these cabins, like getting together, the family for the holidays. So a lot of people, so much history throughout the years, so much more stuff that we learn about Theo's background, more things that we learn about Connor's family, about Theo's family, because we don't really know a lot of it in the beginning, but it just starts unraveling and unraveling and unraveling until the very end. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, this is the first thriller in a while that has really been able to like shock me and actually get me with the plot twist. So that is insane. Like, I feel like even if you would guess a plot twist, you would think that you have it, and then nope. Nope, the author is gonna throw you for a loop. The author is gonna be like, ha, you think you had it, but you didn't. It was really, really crazy. And honestly, this is so weird to say because it's a thriller, but there were some really, really beautiful quotes in this. Like, I really loved just the way that the author structures her sentences. I spoke a little bit about this last night, but I think that the author sets the scene incredibly. Like, she goes into such a detail, such description with the setting, and it just immerses you into the book. It is incredible. And then her writing just seems so like flowery, even though it's a thriller. It's supposed to have you like creeped out on the edge of your seat. But I don't know how to explain it, you guys, but there are some really, really beautiful quotes in this actually. And then the relationship between Theo and Connor, I really ended up loving as well. So I think I'm gonna go with a 4-star rating for this one. You're probably like, why doesn't it get a 5-star rating if it's one of the best thrillers you've read in a while? And it is because of the beginning, honestly, because I was so bored. Like, But once you push through the beginning and get to like the actual story, it is so good. And I was also a little bit disappointed. Not like disappointed by the ending, but like dissatisfied. I feel like Theo, as the main character, didn't do like everything she could have. I'm not gonna say any more because like I don't want to spoil anything. And then also just the last chapter, I'm like, did we really get justice? I don't know. So I feel like those are my final thoughts. I would definitely recommend it, but I would just warn you, like, you might have to push through like the first 75 pages, which I know sounds like a lot, but for me personally, it was worth it. So I would say just give it a shot. And if it's not for you, you could put it down, but if you can get into it, I hope you like it.
Hi guys, it is the next day. I am not feeling great for a lot of different reasons. So it's been a pretty lazy day for me. I honestly didn't even start reading Frigid until just a little bit ago. This morning I mainly just laid in bed and read Iron Flame on my Kindle. So then when I eventually made myself get out of bed and like put on real clothes that aren't just pajamas, I picked up Frigid, but like I haven't gotten too far. I'm about 90 pages in. Thankfully, it's not too long of a book, but I have not gotten that far because I am just so tired, and I feel like every time I open it up and like try to read the words, my eyes just like close and I want to go to sleep. And it's not because the book is boring or anything. It's just like I don't feel good. So that's why you're getting this view of me literally like in bed. I have a heating pad on my stomach, have a cat right there, my water bottle. Like, I am just rotting in bed because I'm not feeling great today. But I will tell you a little bit about Frigid since I am like a decent way into it. I kind of know where the story is going to go at this point. So, it's a dual POV about Sydney and Kyler. They've been best friends since they were kids. They're in college now, and Sydney has always kind of crushed on Kyler. She likes him like that, but she thinks that he doesn't like her like that. But the thing is that Kyler does like her, but he just thinks that she is too good for him. So for that reason, he's like, no, I can never pursue her. Like, we just need to stay best friends because she's way too good for me. And Sydney is very, very jealous because Kyler is kind of a player. He sleeps with like all the girls at school. He's with a different girl at the bar every night when they go out. So Sydney is jealous. And I think every year on Christmas break or during Christmas break, they go to this ski resort or something. I'm pretty sure it's a ski resort. And this year, there is a snowstorm, so Sydney and Kyler go there together. They get there before the snowstorm, but the rest of the group of friends that is supposed to go with them can't make it. So now it's gonna be like forced proximity because they're stuck here for the snowstorm and it's just the two of them. I'm hoping for a good friends to lovers. It's definitely like very, very cozy because they're literally snowed in from a huge blizzard. Like, it's perfect vibes, honestly, for like laying in my bed rotting away in the dead of winter right now. So it's definitely really fun so far. I like their friendship just because they are so comfortable with each other. And it's funny, just things that are happening in this book. So I'm gonna try and keep reading it if I can keep my eyes open at all. And I will keep updating you. I apologize for this not being like the best update just because I'm not feeling my best, but please bear with me. Okay, I'm popping on with another little update quick because first of all, I feel bad that that last update was probably pretty short just because I hadn't gotten like too far into the book and not too much was happening yet. But I am about halfway through the book now, and there's some mystery going on here. There's a little bit of some scary things happening in this. Honestly, it feels like Until Dawn. If you have played that game, or even just like watched that game, that is what it feels like, because Kyler and why am I blanking on her name right now? Sydney are trapped at a ski resort during this blizzard, and the power lines are down, so like they have no way of communicating with the outside world. And now like the backup generator that they're supposed to have isn't working. There's suspicious things happening. Like it seems like there is a menace on the loose. So if you played Until Dawn, you kind of know. It's giving those vibes right now. And it's like, I'm not like scared, but it is giving those vibes. Also, for some reason, it's kind of giving me Colleen Hoover book vibes, and I'm not saying that like in a bad way before anyone gets like butthurt or anything. Not meaning that in a bad way at all. I just mean with Colleen Hoover books, like yes, they're romance, but also it always seems like the main characters get wrapped up in some like dangerous things, or there's some like mystery around them. So it's very much giving that as well, but major Until Dawn vibes. Which my husband would be so proud of me even saying that, because like I played the game with him. So I'm gonna have to tell him about this when he gets home from work. I'm gonna have to tell him the plot, and he's gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's literally Until Dawn. I really hope I have the name right now of that game. I'm pretty sure it's Until Dawn. Anywho, I just wanted to like pop on and say that because it's kind of interesting, and I feel like it's making me want to read it more now that I kind of like made the connection of what it's reminding me of. It wasn't like bad or anything before, not that I didn't want to read it, but I'm just like feeling so black today that I don't feel like doing anything. But now that it's a kind of a little scarier romance, maybe some dangerous people in the book, it's very interesting. So again, I will keep you updated. Sorry, there's not a lot of B-roll happening with this book today. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. Alrighty, so I finished Frigid. Let's just talk about the things that I did like first. So, this is a Friends to Lovers. I thought it was gonna be like just a fluffy romance, but there is some mystery to it, a little bit of like dangerous activity because Kyler and Sydney are being like stalked while they're trapped in this cabin at the ski resort because they're snowed in, there's a blizzard, they're without power, so it is very much forced proximity as well, and like they kind of have to admit their feelings to each other. And then after all that goes down, then there's like some scary stuff happening with them as well, like their safety is in danger. So I did like that because I wasn't expecting that. I was fully going into this like, oh, fluffy palate cleanser romance, but no, it was a little bit more serious than that, and I did like that. So I really like the Friends to Lovers. I really like when forced proximity is done well like this. and when he like kind of takes care of her. And I liked that there was some suspense in it as well. That was all really fun. It also takes place in December, right before Christmas, so perfect wintery vibes. Like there's literally a snowstorm. It doesn't get more wintery vibes than that. I think what my biggest issue with this book is the writing. Like, I'm just gonna say it. I thought that the writing was very, very cringy. And that could be due to the fact that I'm pretty sure this book was originally written in like 2013, and then it just got republished under Bloom Books traditionally. So I don't know if that is just how people were actually talking in 2013. I was only 10 years old at the time in 2013, so like, I don't know, but this feels so juvenile almost. Like, it's not juvenile. What is going on in this book is not juvenile because it is spicy. Like, it is a steamy romance, but it has suspense to it as well. So, like, definitely not a juvenile book, but the writing feels like a teenager literally wrote this on Wattpad. To me, at least. And maybe that's just because I have been reading more like fantasy and literary or contemporary fiction lately, not just like a fluffy romance. And maybe that's why it seems really juvenile and just like poor, cringy writing to me. Maybe it is because it was written in 2013, so writing has definitely changed. But oh my god, there are just some things that are said in this that I'm like, ooh. Like, I literally wish I would have been recording my reactions to some of the things that were said in this book because I was like, nope, no. But overall, it was like a sweet love story. I do really like Kyler's character, even though he's supposed to be like this playboy who has always had feelings for Sydney but has never expressed them. So I feel like we're almost not supposed to love him as a male main character because he just doesn't seem like that great. Like, he sleeps around. He will be like romantically involved with any woman other than Sydney. But he is just so sweet with her, and you can tell that he actually cares about her because they've been friends for years and years, and he just wants to be able to treat her right, and he thinks he would never be able to treat her how she deserves to be treated. So it's kind of frustrating in that sense. But I actually really liked Kyler's character. Again, I thought he was very sweet. He is still like, I don't deserve you, I don't deserve any of your love, but like, I'm going to take it as long as you're giving it to me. And I'm just like gonna remind myself that I'm the luckiest fool ever to have you. And I feel like you could still leave me at any second. Like, it doesn't feel real. And I love when a male main character is like that because it feels so realistic to me. Maybe that's just because like that's how my literal husband talks to me. He's like, I'm so lucky to have you. I don't know how I have you. I feel like you're gonna leave me because you realize you deserve, or like you could do better. And I don't know. He's just hitting kind of close to home. Another thing I didn't love is that there is unnecessary miscommunication that does overall lead to like a third act breakup of a sort. Not exactly like a breakup, but just like unnecessary drama, and I hate the miscommunication and like third act breakup tropes in books because I again find it so unnecessary. But since it was very short-lived and I feel like the ending did redeem itself, I'm gonna let it slide with this book. There's also another book after this one, Scorched. So this is a little duology, and then Scorched will be about the other friends that we saw glimpses of in Frigid. So I will definitely continue it and read about Andrea and Tanner. They did pique my interest a little bit. But overall, I think I'm going to go with a 3-star rating on this. And honestly, a lot of that has to do with the writing. And it just feeling like a 14-year-old girl opened up her laptop and went to town on Wattpad. Not that there's anything wrong with Wattpad, but I just feel like it wasn't the writing I was expecting. Jennifer L. Armentrout is kind of a big author, like a big name. So I was very much expecting it to be like amazing writing, and it just wasn't that. I don't know if this is like her super early work, like if she was still really young when she wrote this. So yeah, I guess those are my final thoughts on Frigid. I don't think I have anything else to add. I would definitely recommend it for a palate cleanser. I mean, it got the job done. That's what I wanted to read it as, and it was fine like that. So now I need to figure out what book I am going to read next. I thought I already had a plan for what book I was going to read, but then I got some other books in the mail today that I'm really gravitating towards. So I'll show you all the options and then I'll tell you what I decide on. So first contender is The Frozen River. I showed this one at the beginning of the video because I was like, I need to read this for book club because it is my book club pick for the month. If you guys didn't know, I have a book club on Spotify. It's a podcast that my sister-in-law and I do together. We pick a book, we read it, we post discussions on Instagram that you guys can then be involved in, and then we go over that during the Spotify recording for the podcast. So definitely go check that out. It is the Chapter Chats podcast, but this one obviously takes place in the winter. It's called The Frozen River, and it is a historical mystery. It takes place in Maine in, or not 1789. As when the Kennebec River freezes, entombing a man in ice, Martha Ballard is summoned to examine the body. As a midwife and healer, her diary is a record of every birth and death, crime and debacle that unfolds in the close-knit community of Hollowell. The Frozen River is a tense and tender story about a remarkable, real woman who left an unparalleled legacy yet remains nearly forgotten to this day. So I feel like it's definitely gonna be more like literary fiction with a mystery to it than like mystery, which I think would be good for this video just because we've read like a thriller, now we've read a romance, and then this one I feel like would be kind of lit fic mystery, but I'll show you the other contenders. We have Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book. Like, I feel like everyone rates it 5 stars. It's a whole series, but this is the first in the series, and also I've just heard Frederick Bachman in general is an amazing author, so I definitely want to get into his books. And this one I think takes place in Canada in the winter, and I think it's about like a hockey player or this hockey team. So definitely very fitting for another winter read. And we have The Favorites. If you guys watched my book shopping vlog, then you'll know that I really wanted to get this book. I was hoping that the bookstores would put it out early because it wasn't quite out yet, but they didn't. So I ordered it on release day and it came today. And I am so excited for this book. People say it's kind of like Daisy Jones and the Six vibe because it's about this figure skating pair, like these partners who fell in love with each other, but then there's like this huge scandal, so now it's kind of like recounting their history together. I have no idea if this is even like wintery, but they're figure skaters, so I'm like, it's gotta be wintery, right? Like, it's ice skating. I don't know, I am just so excited for this book and I really want to pick it up, but the fact that I don't know if it is in winter and would be like a wintry read, I'm like, I probably shouldn't read it for this video. Should I? Even the cover I'm obsessed with, and it says, to the world they were a scandal, to each other an obsession, and just I'm tempted, you guys. I'm really tempted. The responsible thing for me to do would be to read my book club book for the month, since it's only January 16th as I'm filming this, so technically I have until like the end of the month, but next week Onyx Storm comes out, so I know I'm gonna be dropping everything to read that right away, and I don't know where else the week is gonna take me, so I feel like I should get this done. And I feel like this one would also be interesting to show like in a reading vlog because I am going to be annotating it. I'm not sure what like colored tabs I'll do yet and what the different colored tabs will mean yet, but once I get that all sorted out and ready to go, I will definitely show you because I do love annotating books. I feel like it just makes me analyze the books even more than I already do, which is very beneficial, especially when I'm recording a podcast for it. Like, I need to know my stuff. We're gonna go with The Frozen River for now. Let's get started, I guess. Hi guys, it has been a few days since I last saw you for this vlog, and it's been a chaotic few days. Don't mind my appearance. It is just one of those past few days. I just thought I would give you a little update on the Frozen River because I did start it. I'm like 75 pages in, and it's about Martha, who is this midwife and like healer in the 1700s. I think it's later 1700s. And she is called to do not like an autopsy, but just to check out this body that was found in the river. Like, it was literally frozen in the river, and the body is of a man who has been convicted of rape. So Martha is like glad that he's dead, but this brings on like a whole murder mystery in the town, and this is like shaking this town because it's a small town in the 1700s. Like, it's wild times. So for there to be a murder mystery happening, it's pretty interesting. My tab colors here, I have 4 different colors. The lightest blue shade is just quotes that I like, and then the darker blue shade is Martha, like her character development or just things that she does that I like, because Martha is a really cool character. And also Martha, what is her last name? I can't remember. Martha Ballard was a real midwife and a real healer, and she kept a diary. And like, this is a true, like, it's fictional work, but it is inspired by Martha's true story. So I think that's really interesting. We have like her diary entries in here and stuff. So dark blue is for Martha because obviously she's a big part of the story. We're following her. And then gray is for like shocking or surprising because this is a mystery, like a historical mystery. So things that have surprised me. And then the red is like major plot points. So like at first the body is found, and then the body is examined and they find out that it was murder, and just like other kind of big plot points that are probably going to have a lot to do with the story. So I'm definitely enjoying it. It feels like I'm reading a book for English class, but like in a good way. It's a good English class book. So it might take me a bit to get through because I think it's like 450 pages, and I am like trying to analyze everything very thoroughly because, again, this is my book club pick for the month. So I want to know what I'm talking about, and it's also just very interesting. Like, I want to have all this information with me. So I'll definitely keep updating you more. Just wanted to like pop on, and for you guys, it makes no difference that I haven't filmed for a few days because like you see the last clip and then it's this clip. So there's nothing for you, but for me, I haven't filmed for a few days, and I just wanted to like explain why I haven't been on here filming and reading as much. So yeah, I'll probably see you reading some more of The Frozen River. All right, guys, today has been crazy. Today has went so much differently than I thought it was going to go. So I did not get as much red in the frozen river as I would have liked. I really want to try and get this finished tomorrow though, because tomorrow's Monday and on Tuesday Onyx Storm comes out, so I will be abandoning any other book I'm reading and starting Onyx Storm. So I would prefer to have this done than just like abandon it for the time being, but we're getting pretty good, like pretty far into it. I'm about 200 pages in, so that's almost halfway through, so I do think that's pretty good. I don't know, it definitely reads like a historical fiction or like almost a nonfiction in a way. It's good, don't get me wrong. I just feel like I don't really know how else to explain it other than it feeling a little bit nonfiction-y. Like, you can definitely tell that a real story inspired this story. So I am liking it. It's giving me like Where the Crawdads Sing vibes, and also Martha Ballard very much gives me the same vibes as Claire from Outlander, which like they're both in the 1700s, I think. I'm pretty sure Claire from Outlander goes back to the 1700s, and they're both healers, and they're both like they seem so worldly, like they have so much knowledge and insight on life, and I just really love Martha's character. Like, she goes off on people, and I love it. I'm like, yes, Martha, like, standing up for people, sticking up for women, because back in the 1700s, women had, like, no rights. So Martha's just, like, going off on people. I love Martha's husband, Ephraim, I think is how you say his name, because he's also, like, so supportive of her. He's so sweet. Like, he is the standard. And I really like their just overall life story, but I also like that Martha is trying to stand up for women. Like, there are several mentions of rape throughout the book. Women who get raped, women who then have children as a result of being raped. And Martha is always there, like, at the birth. And then she's also there, like, documenting everything, because I guess when women were unwed back then and had a child out of wedlock, they were fined. And then if they didn't have, like, a father on the birth certificate, they were fined for that as well. And even if they did list a father, they were still fined. So it's just, like, terrible. That's all I have to say about that. So Martha, like, being there for those women and sticking up for them and telling them that they're still, like, so strong and they did nothing wrong because they're literally raped. Like, hello. So I just love Martha's character overall, and the fact that she was a real person, I'm like, way to go, Martha. Way to go. I love her. Also, I feel like it is very, very fitting to be reading this book right now, because it's been taking place in, like, December and now January of I don't know why I keep on saying 1789, and it is January currently right now, and it's also very cold out right now. I think the temperature without the wind chill is -10, and then the other day when it was like 10 degrees out, the wind chill was -10. So I don't even want to know what the real feel is today with the actual temperature being -10 and then it being windy. Like, it just sounds terrible. And I don't know how people survived in the cold in the 1700s. Like, I'm reading about Martha having to, like, go out to these houses in the middle of the night to help women give birth. And I'm like, girl, how? First of all, how do you not have, like, central heating, and how are you surviving in these conditions? And then second of all, how are you, like, going out in the dead of night in these temperatures and surviving? I am not made for these times. I was definitely born in the right century, because nope, no, I don't want any of this, what's happening in this book. Like, to women, just living life, nope. Yeah, I am enjoying it, making lots of tabs. I have a lot of quotes that I like. that are like digs at men, or I have a lot of also like tabs for Martha and just her character, because again, I love her character. She is just awesome. I don't really know a better way to describe Martha Ballard. So yeah, that's my little reading update for today. I think I read like 120, 130 pages, so definitely made good headway today, and I didn't even read for that long. So I think tomorrow, if I actually sit down and read like I was supposed to today, I can definitely get it finished if I prioritize reading it. Because otherwise, I'm not going to finish it until after Onyx Storm, and I just feel like I can't do that. Like, we need to finish up this winter reading vlog. I will keep you guys updated. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's minus 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of minus 23 degrees.
You guys, I just finished The Frozen River, and oh my gosh, I am blown away. I did not fully understand like the extent of the impact that this book would have on me, really. Like, I went into it just thinking it was a historical fiction mystery, and it is just so much more than that. It is a story about women empowerment and how strong women are, and true stories of women during this time. This story about Martha Ballard as her time being a midwife and a healer while she's living in this town where there have been many women accusing these certain men of rape, and just how the justice system continuously fails these women over and over and over again. And it's just like so eye-opening in a way where it's like, okay, so the justice system has just always been failing women, basically. And for Martha to just be the amazing, powerful woman that she is, and finally gets revenge and gets her justice, it was so powerful. I don't even know like what to say. I feel like I shouldn't even tell you that much about it, just because like when you are in the book, it is just so good. Obviously, trigger warning of rape. I mean, I'm pretty sure on the synopsis here it mentions that, but very, very, very heavy topic revolving the whole book, the whole story, why Martha is even really telling this story and trying to like fit the puzzle pieces together the whole time has to do with women who have gotten raped, and Martha, being a midwife, is now like involved with these women who end up pregnant after being raped. And this book is very, very heartbreaking because it just shows you how women live, how they still continue to live today, and how they still had it worse back then. It's just so hard to explain really how it feels. I feel like you just have to be a woman to understand how it feels. I am very, very interested to see how our book club meeting goes, because it is me, my sister-in-law, and then my brother. So my sister-in-law is my brother's wife. So I think it'll be so interesting to get a male perspective on the book. I mean, not that he'd like bash the book or anything like that, but just the emotions that he feels as a man rather than a woman, because obviously me and my sister-in-law are going to feel very differently about the topics discussed in this book than a man would, because a man doesn't live in the same world as a woman. As you can see, I have so many tabs. There were so many times where I just loved Martha so much. I wish I would have been filming my reaction to one of the things she did at the end, because it was honestly like the most savage thing she could have done, and she did it. I was like, yes, Martha. Also, just like some huge plot points, huge points where the story would kind of take a turn. A lot of shocking things that were revealed as the story was like tying up, as Martha was piecing these things together, and some really, really beautiful quotes. I really love this. I think I'm gonna have to go with a 5-star rating. I don't even know how I would rate this if I didn't rate it a 5-star, because it's like such an impactful story. Some people might say it's hard to rate because of that, but I feel like it's very easy to rate because of that, and I'm gonna go with 5 stars. And just like the whole story starting because of this river in town freezing, and then it revealing a body in it, and this body revealing all these other things throughout the story, throughout the town. Like, it is just crazy how it all pieces together. If you want to hear more of my thoughts and like my brother's thought, my sister-in-law's thoughts, tune into our podcast, the Chapter Chats podcast. It should be live February 1st. I'm not sure when this video is going up exactly, but February 1st for sure, our podcast will be up by then. So I would definitely suggest to go tune into that. If you have read The Frozen River, or if you don't really want to read it but just want to hear more about the story and how impactful it is and all of our thoughts throughout the book, because wow, I am very, very surprised by just how much of this book has impacted me. Now let's go over the other 2 books I read for today's wintery reading vlog. I started off with A Killing Cold. This was a really good thriller, I thought, at least, because I was not able to really see where it was going at all or any of the plot twists, so I did give this a 4-star rating. It was just a little bit slow to get into until like 100-ish pages, which I thought was a bit much because it is just under 300 pages, so not that long of a book, and for it to take 100 pages to kind of get to the point of the story, it's like, okay, that's a little much. But I did appreciate all the things that were revealed in this, all the twists and turns. Thought it was a perfect wintry thriller. Then I read Frigid by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I thought this was just going to be a fluffy romance, but there was actually mystery in it, and I did like that little surprise that it had mystery in it, but overall, I just did not really like the writing. I thought it was really cringy. The romance was good. I did like the male main character a lot, but the rest of it, not so much, so I gave this a 3-star rating. And lastly, The Frozen River, which you just heard me yap about, and I am giving it a 5-star rating. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out, and please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post at least once a week, so you can always have some more bookish content to watch from me. Leave any comments you would like, any future video ideas you might have for me, any critiques, literally anything. I'm open to any comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!